The final score, Preston North End 1, Wrexham 1, another tricky away match negotiated, and we've come through it unscathed. A pleasing draw against a side that were fifth in the league before we met them, with a strong home record, and well, we came within 9 minutes of a win and showed plenty going forwards. Although you must say that just as Daniel Everson made an amazing double save to stop us going 2 up in the second half, Arthur Okonkwo at the other end was absolutely magnificent. So we started off with Preston's high quality on loan players from the Premier League, the likes of Dobbin and Torderson and Devine looking good. Dobbin managed to beat Hyam down the right, which is no mean feat, and whipped in a cross which Michael Smith couldn't quite reach in the goal mouth. But then in the 4th minute, we take the lead. It's a goal which is all about the quality of James McLean's ball in from the left-hand side. Brilliant whip on it. The keeper, Everson, dives down low to his left, gets something on it. He thinks the centre-back's going to intercept it, but it's ripped in beautifully between them. And all Everson can do is tee it up on a plate for Kiefer Moore, who taps the ball in from, a yard out in front of an open goal. Straightforward finish, but then you have to have the instincts to get in there and be in the right place at the right time, and he's into double figures already in all competitions. Brilliant stuff. And Wrexham really, I thought, had some really good passages of play throughout this first half. We had more of the ball than we often had in away games. We've broken forward sometimes with pace, and we've also moved the ball around really well. This was a very satisfying away performance. Preston's fans were getting impatient very, very quickly. We had another moment of danger when Hyam got it really well, won a header. Moore racing onto us, had a sight of goal and is denied only because Lindsay manages to come across and get a block in as Moore drills in the shot. And then the corner causes problems as well. Dobson sweeping it into the near post, 6 yards out. Scar arriving, leaps higher than everyone else. The ball's just behind him though, and as a result he can't control his contact and he heads it over the bar. Preston's started to get back into things, although it took an error by George Dobson to allow them a chance on the 15th minute. He gave the ball away and Dobbin drove forwards. A fabulous run, twisting, turning, left foot, right foot, really brilliant. Manages in the end from running in his own half to get into the right channel, but Dobson, having given the ball away, is chasing him all the way. It's great heart and effort by him. He's determined to make up, and when Dobbin gets the shot in, Dobson is the one who blocks it. It's the beginning though of a glorious minute of end-to-end madness, because Wrexham goes straight up the other end. Moore wins the ball brilliantly and lays her off. Broadhead carrying it forwards. Moore peels off and he's running through on goal. If Broadhead can find him, he hits the pass. Hughes is able to intercept, otherwise Moore's one-on-one with the keeper, and then straight up the other end Preston come. Devine in the left channel, cutting it onto his right foot about 20 yards out, drilling a powerful shot across the Okonkwo. Great save by him to repel it. So wow, breathless stuff. And Preston start to take a bit more heart and start to ask a few more questions. Whiteman standing up a ball into the box, looking for Torderson, who's made a good run ahead of Smith, the striker. He can't make contact with it on the edge of the area, but Paul Valentine, the right wing back, is attacking it at the far post, gets there first. Okonkwo very, very quick off his line, and just outside the 6-yard box, Valentine blazes it over the bar. But they continue to push on. Beg your pardon. And there's a spell of real danger. Devine whipping a nasty free kick in. Concord does well to come out and punch is clear. It comes out to Torderson, who stands it back in. It's punched clear again. And then when it's swept in from the right flank, Smith gets it well, nods the ball into the danger area. Lindsay manages to get there first, and it squirms beyond Okonkwo for once, but McLean does ever so well to drop back onto the line, anticipating the danger, and clears it off the line. But Wrexham finished a half well, because it's an entertaining end-to-end game of lots of chances, and with both teams having clearly defined spells where they get on top. Pressure starts off with an error by Devine trying to head the ball in his own defensive third and just putting it back to the edge of the box. Lovely flick again by Moore. Sends Dobson around the back of the defence, right hand side. He stands it up and inviting cross into the goalmouth. Whiteman heads it partly away. McLean running onto it on the edge of the area. It bounces awkwardly for him. He hits it first time. Can't quite stay on top of it and it goes off target. But then almost straight away, Wrexham again pushing on. Sloppy defender by Preston. It's got to be said, I came into this game rating their back three, but they didn't look great in all honesty. On this occasion, it starts off with the midfielder Whiteman slipping, and then Lindsay, who again I thought was going to have a proper titanic battle with Moore, but he looked quite edgy, I thought, in that contest. Running towards his own goal, slips over himself. Moore is breaking down the left channel, drives into the box, can't quite get the opportunity for the shot though, and then the danger is ended by a very soft decision by the referee, who gives a foul against Moore when Lindsay essentially runs back and just runs into him and then falls over, and the ref falls for it. Wrexham keep going though. 3 minutes before the break, excellent possession by Wrexham ends with Broadhead feeding Sheaf, who turns and feeds it in to Moore. Moore spins beautifully and it looks like he's going to get a shot off, but Hughes, to be fair, reads it excellently and is able to stick with him and get the block in. Last minute of the half then, Preston coming back. It's all comes a spell of pressure from a poor piece of officiating, to be totally honest. The ball's bouncing out for a throw-in to Wrexham, lever edge of our penalty area. Hyam is sprinting across and he has his shirt pulled in the most blatant manner that you could imagine, where Lindsay sticks his hand, it seems to stick his hand inside Hyam's v-neck and just pull downwards, and Hyam's got nowhere to go but the floor. It's astonishingly blatant, and to be fair to the ref, it's on his blind side, but the linesman doesn't help him out. And so incredibly, this almost laughably blatant foul becomes a free throw into Preston, and they keep the pressure on. They have a succession of corners. From the second one, it's swept in, and Story, heading it powerfully, puts it just wide. In added time, again, we're under pressure, and 3rd minute of added time, absolutely brilliant work by Okonkwo to make sure that we go in ahead. It's a good burst down the right hand side by Valentine. He sweeps in the cross for his opposite wing back Small. His first effort from about 7 yards out is wrong footing. Okonkwo does brilliantly to get his body behind it and push it back out, but it falls for Small 6 yards out and he hits it on target again instantly. Okonkwo does brilliantly to lunge to his right and push it away. Magnificent goalkeeping, and so Wrexham go in ahead. And we start the second half well. Broadhead had been a little bit peripheral in the first half, but the next 15-20 minutes he is buzzing, finding space between the lines and creating all sorts of opportunities. He goes off on a great run down the left channel early in the half and goes down asking for the penalty. I'm going to say no, it's not. But it's poor defending again by Lindsay. Broadhead's running at him and just goes from left to right foot. And Lindsay, all he can do in response is turn his back on him and stick his backside out. With Hughes running alongside Broadhead, Broadhead kind of has nowhere to go and is hit by Lindsay's hip. I mean, I think, to be honest, Lindsay, rather than defend the situation, is looking to get away with a foul which will look accidental, and certainly I'd have been a little bit surprised if the ref had given it. So yeah, not complaining about it from a Wrexham perspective, but it was poor defending by Lindsay, and the ref could have given it, I guess. But Wrexham keep moving on and putting on pressure, and in the 51st minute comes maybe the turning point. Everson's outstanding double save. It's a ball down the right hand side. Small misses it completely. Moore is around the back of the defence, cuts into the box. He's got no support, and from a tight angle he doesn't really have any other option. He drills a shot in with terrific power. Everson makes a brilliantly acrobatic save to push it back out into the goalmouth, but McLean is able to run in and judge it better than Story. and then unfortunately just misjudged his contact. It's an open goal. The defender is standing in his way a bit. But yeah, McLean had just been able to get the clean contact on it. It's got to be a goal as it is. He heads it on target but into the ground, and Everson does wonderfully to get up, hurl himself, and acrobatically again push the ball away to safety. But Wrexham are knocking on the door. Sheaf with a lovely turn and pass to Broadhead, who drives towards the edge of the area and then lashes a powerful shot just wide of the right post. Preston are in need of something, and Paul Heckingbottom makes some smart substitutions that will just change the game. When they're causing problems, it's those attacking players I mentioned on loan from all these big clubs who are making great runs from deep beyond Smith. He brings on Jebison, more of an orthodox striker, and a fire on the right who's going to offer a lot coming forwards on the flank. And it just gives Wrexham different problems to deal with, and Preston start to make chances themselves. Small goes very close just after the hour when Whiteman stands the ball into the box. Good header clear by Scar, but it drops to Small, who from the edge of the area with a crowded box in front of him makes really good contact on a volley which skips through the crowd. Okonkwo's got no chance, and it hits the post and bounces back out into the goalmouth and is cleared by Cleworth. Wrexham, though, around that midway point of the second half, again get a grip and start making more chances. There's one funny little instance where a ricochet drops to Moore in the 6-yard box, but with an almost impossible tight angle, and he just can't do anything quickly enough to make something happen before Preston converge on him. Then there's a lovely patient move which ends with Thomason laying it off to Broadhead. He helps it down the left. Great early cross by McLean, and Thomason has carried on his run to the near post. Meets it with a lovely contact and puts it just wide of the far post, so close to a second goal. And then it's Dobson on the right hand side, standing the ball in. Great cross. Moore at the far post has got inside his marker and is hurling himself at it to apply his head to the close range finish. Whiteman, who often did a good job just getting back and covering his centre backs, just about manages to get up and get the top of his head to it and flick it away from Moore and save a goal. But Preston now are starting to get their rhythm going, and in the last quarter of an hour they are the threatening ones as they try to push on for an equaliser. Whiteman stands the ball up to the far post from a corner. Story gets up really well, powerful header, so real neck muscles in it, and it's a brilliant save by Okonkwo to push the ball behind for another corner. From that corner there is huge controversy. The ball is swept in. Hughes gets up at the far post, heads it in. Thomason has turned and jumped. It hits him. Preston are adamant it's a penalty for handball. Well, I think the ref is right not to give it, but it's well worth a shout. Thomason jumps, his arms are out by his sides, but he brings his arms back down. So when it hits him, his hands are down. Not behind his back, not totally tucked in. It's about 6 inches between his wrist and his hip, and his arms are down. You shouldn't give a handball for that, but I can see why you would ask for it. And the way his arms came down was that the referee being deceived and thought it hit him a little bit higher up. You know, a fraction earlier in his movement, he probably would have given a penalty, but I think the ref does very well to not give that one. Wrexham make changes. Quarter of an hour left, Barnes comes off, Longman comes on. 3 minutes after that, Broadhead and Sheaf come off, Windass and James come on. Preston at this point, though, are really piling on the pressure. There's another save from Okonkwo. Again, Whiteman, who in the second half, especially after Armstrong comes on, a player we were close to signing at the start of the season on loan from Everton, but he's gone now to Preston. Once he comes on alongside Whiteman really comes into the game. He puts another good ball in. Tremendous header this by Hughes, standing start, just massive shoulder and neck muscles behind it, bang, great contact, and the best maybe of Okonkwo's saves as he hurls himself and just gets a tiniest amount on it at full stretch, Okonkwo at full stretch, to touch the ball beyond the top corner. But the breakthrough does come, 9 minutes left, and it comes in a frustrating way, to be honest. Again, it's Whiteman in deep, standing balls into good areas. He stands up for Armstrong beyond the far post. There's lots of little things that could have gone better. Armstrong gives Longman a bit of a nudge, gets away with it. I don't think it's a foul, but sometimes they get given. He then is able to get the ball in on target, takes a flick off Longman, and Cleworth blocks it. It drops back for Armstrong, and from a tight angle, he just goes for power, and it flies inside the near post before Okonkwo can properly react. No chance for the keeper, and Preston have the equaliser. And now they're pushing for the winner. 2 minutes later, a corner comes in, and a hell of an opportunity as Hughes nods it down beautifully into the goal mouth, and Story has a great chance about 7 yards out unmarked and lashes at it, makes terrific contact, but leaning backwards puts it over the bar. It's a real opportunity. Mind you, Wrexham then have a chance at the other end. Within a minute, McLean charging down the left hand side, another great cross in by him. Longman is sprinting in at the far post and manages to get there ahead of Small. Just makes contact with Small as he goes past him, and I just can't control it. So he's all on his own in front of goal, but he more just sort of treads on the ball than anything else and ends up on the floor. There is contact. Longman does not ask for a penalty. So although in commentary I immediately think, hang on, did he push him? I think the answer is no. And to be fair to Wrexham, we then close the game out well, and we do have one more opportunity ourselves with 4 minutes left. A 4-on-3 break after Scar wins a good header, Longman with a nice pass down the line, and Windass is charging forwards with, like I said, 4 players against 3. He cuts inside into the box and doesn't play the pass. Instead, he tries the shot and he can't keep it down, though. He gets himself into a good position on his left foot. But you can't stop wondering whether if he played the ball in a bit earlier, Wrexham might have had a chance to take advantage of that overload. So anyway, could have been a win, could easily have been a win, and James McLean after the match I think was right to say that there were points in that second half where we stopped playing ourselves out of trouble, something we did exceptionally well in the first half and did move the ball around well in the first quarter of the second half. But as he said, for about 10 minutes leading up to the goal, we stopped doing that, just dug in and were clearing it, and only really started to threaten again after we'd conceded the equaliser. And he's right, that was a shame. But notwithstanding that, it's a good away performance. We could easily have scored more than 1 goal. And again, Okonkwo showed that the Championship is certainly not a level that's troubling him. Another good away point. And we now have the longest unbeaten run in the Championship. Not only that, but only York have got a longer unbeaten run in the whole of the top 5 divisions in English football. Not bad, eh? So on to Hull. Let's hope that we can again deliver. With the final score of Preston North End 1, Wrexham 1, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.